Massa got good all the time. All the time, Massa got good. So blessing to you all who join in our next 5 minutes plus Bible session. And although we passed the month of February today, we will continue with the last session on the teaching on Rastafarian interpretation of the Bible, and today in a very special way with a symbol of Babylon. Anyone who is acquainted or likes the roots reggae must have noticed that the lyrics of those songs often employ the words like Haile Selassie, Conquering Lion of Judah, King of Kings, Lord of Lords, Zion, and of course the word Babylon. All of these are biblical terms, with exception of Haile Selassie, to whom some of these biblical titles are ascribed. As Christians, we must be quite conscious and aware of the fact that the theology of the new Abrahamic religion is not enclosed in the volumes of theological books as our religion. The Rastafarian movement gained its popularity chiefly through soul and root reggae music. And as much as we like this music and its lyrics, we need to be aware that when we sing it, we may unknowingly sing the faith and the theological pronouncements of the religion that sounds biblical, but de facto is not a Christian religion. So let me give you an example. When Buju Banton sings, "Our Father who art in Zion, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come on earth, thy will be done on earth, hallowed be thy name." I'm sure we all sing it, we all know it. However, he does not sing, "Our Father who art in heaven," but "Our Father who art in Zion." And here is the big difference. For Rastafarians, Zion is Ethiopia, and Jamaica and the whole New World where African people were carried away is Babylon. And here our Father in Ethiopia is Haile Selassie. And so the real meaning of that well-known Buju Banton intro is, "Our Father, Haile Selassie, who are in Ethiopia, hallowed be your name," yes, Haile Selassie name, "and his kingdom come from Ethiopia, come here on earth." One little word, Zion, changes the meaning of the Lord's Prayer completely. And similarly, the word Jah, in many songs we hear that word, which is a short for Jehovah or Yahweh. And it is attributed to Haile Selassie, the Emperor of Ethiopia who died in 1975. In many of the reggae songs we hear Jah. Jah or Yahweh is the sacred name of God revealed to Moses from the burning bush. We know it from Exodus chapter 3. The name was forbidden to the Jews to be pronounced. Only the high priest once a year on the Day of Atonement was allowed to actually pronounce it in the Holy of Holies in the temple. For the Jewish people who revere the name and who would never take it in vain, as the commandment stipulates, for example in Exodus chapter 20, verse 7, "Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain." You realize that in this verse, as many times in the scriptures, the word Lord, L-O-R-D, is written in capital letters. And this is exactly where the name YHVH is written. And whenever Jewish people encounter that word, they substitute it with Adon when they read it or pronounce it, or Adonai, which in English means Lord, or husband. You know, that is why there are many images of God of Israel as a bridegroom or husband. Pope Benedict XVI instructed us in 2006, all Catholics, that in respect of the Jewish people and sacredness of God's name, we should not use it at all. Even in some of our Christian songs that we like to sing, the name Yahweh or Jah should be substituted with the Lord or Adon or Adonai. Thus, singing and pronouncing the name of Jah in reggae songs together with the artist is biblically disrespectful of the name of the Lord and could be breaking of God's commandment. Thou shalt not take God's name in vain. Exodus 20 verse 7 or Deuteronomy verse 5:11 and many other places you can see in the Bible that that commandment is repeated. So there are many songs also that mention Babylon, and we like to sing them. Some young people know them perhaps even better than our own Christian creed. Many of those references, especially to Babylon, are based on fundamentalist Scofield Bible interpretation, which distinguish the spiritual Babylon, which is in the Roman Catholic Church, and the earthly Babylon, which is any earthly power like police, which persecutes Rastafarians. You know, perhaps today the Rastafarians are not so antagonistic just to the Roman Catholic Church, but the conquering Lion of Judah is Haile Selassie, that in chapter 5 of Revelation, who won the war with Benito Mussolini in 1935, and Benito Mussolini's army was allegedly blessed by the Pope. We don't know that. A lot of antagonism of Rastafarians may not come from their natural inclination against Catholic Church, but through the teaching of the fundamentalist Scofield Bible. I hold the Scofield Bible right new, and I'm going to read some comments he makes on the book of Revelation in chapter 17. I'm reading. Babylon, confusion, is repeatedly used by the prophets in a symbolic sense in Isaiah 13 verse 1, note and so on. Two Babylons are to be distinguished in the Revelation. Ecclesiastical Babylon, which is apostate Christendom, headed up under the papacy, and political Babylon, which is the Babylon Confederated Empire, the last form of Gentile world dominion. Well. It's called also the Great Whore, and I could read it and so on. So you have ecclesiastical Babylon, which is the Great Whore in Revelation chapter 17 verse 1, and the political Babylon in Revelation chapter 17 verse 15 to 18, and the whole chapter 18 as well. So that's what he writes in his Bible. Now, after the First World War, the League of Nations was established in Europe, and the 10 horns of the beast are the 10 countries of the European League of Nations that was established, and United States didn't want to join the League of Nations. Many of those nations were also colonizers of Africa. And so Scofield interpretation fitted very well the Rasta political theology. Scofield Bible was and still is widely read version of the authorized King James Version Bible, because he uses that text. It was known and read by Rastas from the first decades of the 20th century, when Rastafarianism was born. However, unlike the ignorant Scofield, who did not accept the Babylon really existed, he writes in prophets it is a symbol only. And it's a Tower of Babel. He says that it's a Tower of Babel in Genesis chapter 11, and then it's fulfilled in Revelation in chapter 17 and 18, like a symbol, without engaging the real Babylon, the historical Babylon of Nabucodonosor. And Daniel and the other prophets, the Rastas, now recognize the significance of the historical Babylon is in their interpretation what happened to the Israelites many centuries ago when they were led from Zion, Jerusalem, to Babylon. It also happened to the African people who were led from Zion, which is for them Ethiopia, to the exile in Babylon, where the white people enticed the black African to accept and subscribe to their Western lifestyle, food, dress, language, Bible, white God and white Jesus, and many other customs as king of Babylon was enticing also in the book of Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, 3 youngsters from Israel. So Rastafarianism is a religion of resistance to being absorbed into Western culture. Babylon is thus a very interesting symbol and image, perhaps also for us Christians today, who also should not get absorbed into all the liberal modernistic values in the post-Christian Western culture we live, but express some resistance to the values which in modern world may be not Christian and are even decadent, hedonistic, and sometimes you can say completely pagan. Of course, in Rastafarian theology of Babylon, there is envisaged a repatriation and return to the land of their ancestors, which is Africa. Like people of Israel who eventually, after 70 years of exile, were urged by prophets like Isaiah 40-55, those chapters, to return to Jerusalem and Judah, the land of their ancestors, and to Jerusalem. Thus, the Rastafarians identified Babylon as a Rastafarian biblical paradigm of liberation theology, for their theology and for their message. Unlike Schofield's interpretation that the Babylon is destroyed in the great Armageddon and the second coming of Christ then happens, Rastafarians preach in the reggae songs the return to Zion, Africa, the land of their ancestors. For them, this is not just a Babylon's resistance, but really ultimately the escape from Babylon back to Zion, Africa. So thank you very much, and this is all for today and for the biblical discussions we had on the Black History Month. So I will see you next